Warning: the following video contains explicit language which may be offensive to some viewers or inappropriate for children. The content within this video is intended for mature audiences only.
Are you ready? Cloudy here and spitting snow a little bit, but it wasn't too cold. So yeah, that's the way it is here in Maine. So I got a couple of videos, and the first one is from IHIP News, and the ladies up there have some issues they want to discuss. And it kind of starts with a interview that Sean Hannity did with Donald Trump on Fox. And it seemed like Trump wanted to go into talking about his grievances with Joe Biden. And Hannity wanted to talk about the economy. And it's like the two butt heads there for a bit. Well, you know, Trump was saying, oh, no, this is more important. And Hannity was like, no, well, I'm here to talk about the economy. You know what I'm saying? And I'm thinking, you know, Trump is only going to use the media for his purposes, okay? If anyone wants to throw a camera in his face, he's going to talk about what he wants to talk about, not what you want to ask him about, okay? He gets mad. He insults reporters when they try to make him answer questions. He don't like that. He wants to get on there and just bitch. That's all he wants to do. So let's go to that video, and then we'll come back on the other side.
Shocking display of unjournalism last night. Sean Hannity frazzles convicted felon Donald Trump. And the thing about Trump is, the more you push him, he lies nonstop, but the truth always kind of drips out. Listen to what he says about the economy.
Somebody advised Joe Biden to give pardons to everybody but him. They wanted to take care of, yeah, but Sean, they wanted to, I don't care.
They're yelling at me.
This is more important because right now the economy is going to do great.
I want to know about
I'm
the
here,
economy.
so the economy, but you have to understand.
He's such a piece of shit.
So I think it's really interesting that Trump wants to constantly talk about grievances. He wants to talk about having an enemy. He wants somebody to be after him, and he wants that person to be Joe Biden right now. Later this afternoon, it could be somebody new. So he can't talk about the economy. He can't talk about delivering what he promised for all of his voters because he doesn't care. What he wants is to be BFFs with billionaires, to enrich himself personally, and to have personal grievances. That is like crack cocaine to him, to have a personal grievance that he can air. Look at how they wronged me. Look at what he did wrong. This is where he shines. This is how sick and corrupt this man is and how mentally insane he is.
Well, what's so interesting to me about it is you're the president. You have everything you could ever want. You've enriched yourself by billions. You're back in the Oval Office. You have all this power and you're still mad about Joe Biden. And now we're 4 days into your presidency and the prices are doing nothing but going up. You're repealing protections. Like you have things you could be doing for the American people, but you're sitting around crying because you're a titty baby.
He doesn't care about the things that normal politicians care about, or at least try to feign that they care about. He has been so against his agenda that he said he was running on. Now, to be fair, he did say he was going to pardon all of the January 6th criminals and he was going to do away with DEI. But remember, this term, he got a lot of Latino voters, and he's already removed the Spanish language portion of the White House website. He's removed the Constitution from the White House website. But what's been so alarming to me is the enthusiasm in which the oligarchy and American CEOs have gone and kissed the ring of a man who's number one in command under him, Elon Musk, did a back-to-back Nazi salute. Let's listen to Jamie Dimon, CEO of Chase Bank.
I look at tariffs, they are an economic tool. That's it. They're an economic weapon, depending how you use it and why you use it and stuff like that. And, people argue, is it inflationary and non-inflationary? I would put in perspective, if it's a little inflationary, but it's good for national security, so be it. Get over it.
Yeah, if it's a little inflationary, so be it. Get over it. Tough titties, America. And so in backing this up, Kylie, put up the next slide. Oh my God, welcome to Trump's America. Egg prices rise nearly 37%, pardon me. So they all said it's about inflation, all the Trump voters. It's about inflation. We care about the economy. Meanwhile, they're buying all of the riffraffs and knickknacks at the Donald Trump online flea market, the Bibles, the shoes, the cologne, the books, all the crap, the talking Trump fish. It was never about the price of eggs. It was always about the racism. And we said this long back when the campaign was going on. James Carville likes to say it's the economy, stupid. And we said, no, it's the racism, stupid. And here we are with Fox News constantly providing cover. And regarding that first clip, you can hear Hannity begging him to talk about the economy. They're asking me, like his producers are saying, get to the economy, get to the economy. Trump, I don't care. Jamie Dimon, get over it. Yeah, it's inflationary. Who gives a shit? This is where the American economy is going to suffer, and the working class people are going to suffer even more. And the majority of these working class voters are MAGA voters, and they're going to feel it, and they are going to suffer these next 4 years.
These billionaires don't have to care about the economy. They don't have to care about the price of eggs or the price of insulin or the price of home goods because they're billionaires. So as Elon Musk said, well, people are going to have to suffer. Well, okay, because you're getting richer and the income disparity is becoming more and more wide. And yet people are sitting around talking about the price of eggs, when really what they should have been saying is, I don't give a shit if I pay more. I want Black people to be discriminated against. I don't give a shit if I have to buy more expensive cars or more expensive home items because I want women to suffer because cruelty is what they traffic in. It is so gross. And I guess you could say, and I hate it for people, but this is the fuck around and find out stage. We're finding out what Trump's tariffs do to an economy.
Yes. And these working class voters get sold a bill of goods and they are manipulated, gaslit, and exploited by from their churches all the way up to the government. And somebody who's always on my watch list is the Speaker of the House, Mike Johnson. And Mike Johnson, he is the biggest liar for Jesus. Right. All he does is tell lies for Jesus. And the fact that he bends the knee to one of the most immoral, corrupt leaders this nation has ever seen tells you how hypocritical and ridiculous his faith is. Furthermore, he is the most powerful ranking evangelical in the United States government. And what a hollow, surface level, bullshit cult evangelical Christianity is, and what a cancer it is, because evangelical Christianity traffics in white supremacy, traffics in grifting, traffics in indoctrinating their congregation, indoctrinating kids from a very young age. But the whole while, they accuse the left of doing that because facts are not on their side. Here's Mike Johnson last night on CNN talking about January 6th.
Mike Johnson is now calling January 6th a day of peaceful protests and creating a subcommittee to investigate, quote, false narratives around that day. Republican lawmakers now want to host some of the convicted and pardoned rioters at the Capitol. And the Trump administration is discussing some sort of invitation for some of these rioters to possibly go to the White House and meet with the president. Joining us now to discuss Republican.
So he's forming a new committee. And so the desire to whitewash this and the coup attempt and how fixated they are on all of this, because it is such a stain. There's video. There is video of this, just like there is video of Elon Musk doing a back-to-back Nazi salute. There is video of these deranged, demonic Trump supporters beating up cops, and they can have committees and they can talk and they can have all of the crazy Christian gatherings. These people are criminals. And I want to remind you, once they made it to the floor of the Congress, they started reading from the Bible. They literally had Bibles and they were thumping them. These were literal Bible thumpers with the cancer of evangelical white supremacist Christianity running through their bones, running through their blood. And they were beating up cops on their way to do it. And what did the crazy guy with the horns say when he got out? I'm going to go buy some motherfucking guns. Right. That's what he tweeted. This is Trump's America. Eggs are higher. Now you can discriminate. You cannot hire somebody because they're black. You can say, I don't want to hire you because you seem gay. I don't want to hire you because you're a woman. And then you have this whitewashing of this horrible thing that we all saw with our own eyes, and the continued gaslighting that these people do and all of the people that fall prey to it is it's mystifying to me that people are so stupid that they hear this and think, oh, yeah, it was Antifa. Well, so did Trump just pardon Antifa? I mean, the whole thing is so ridiculous. It's hard to even process that people still buy this BS.
A peaceful protest wherein we wanted to hang Mike Pence and kill Nancy Pelosi. And I'm going to read my Bible while I take a shit in the Capitol. But that's all peaceful. Here's my thing. These people are liars. They want to gaslight you. They don't want people to know the truth. And they have a whole media ecosystem. Fox News is sitting over there. Oh, it was just a little dust up. Oh, we're going to form a committee. People have gotten to where they believe what these liars tell them. They just have to believe their eyes. Just believe your eyes. That's all you have to do. And people they won't.
There's something about the cruelty that Trump campaigns on that unlocks all of these default settings of a lot of white Americans. And the Latinos that ended up voting for Trump are quickly finding out that his loyalties are only to billionaires. A lot of rural America and working class Americans, I feel like the brainwash is so deep and so they're so over their skis in it that there's a stubbornness to even say at this point that, oh my God, he's a monster, because then they would have to reflect upon themselves and that they supported this. And that leads me back to the oligarchs. All of this January 6th stuff is on TV. It's recorded. It will be forever. Elon Musk doing a back-to-back Nazi salute is on film. We see it. Him removing the pride flags and reversing the EOC executive order. That is forever. That is permanent. And you're still standing by his side to solely enrich yourselves. And that you're beholden to this man is really grotesque. That the courage that Karen Pence has more courage than these billionaires is something that I'm really having a hard time getting over. That you're this wealthy, you don't fly commercial anymore, you can buy whatever you want, and you bent the knee to such an immoral administration.
And for what? We know at some point.
Money.
Right. But I mean, what are you going to do with more money? You're a billionaire. You couldn't possibly spend all the money. It's so gross. It's so greedy, cowardly. I feel like this presidency has gone on for 100 years and we're 4 days in. I really do. Like,
No,
how's it going to feel in a year?
No, I agree. All right. We'll see you guys later.
It's so entertaining to have the vein. So
I
good.
believe that, some rich bastard would say, oh, well, tariffs are an economic tool. And if it causes inflation, then so be it. Who cares, right? So what if people have to pay more for the basics? It's like, I know I've asked a lot of times on my videos about, how the rich view the world is way different than how everybody else does. And you can see that when you're wealthy, a callus grows over your feelings about other people because you only care about yourself. It's the height of selfishness, to be like that. And I think a lot of super wealthy people are very selfish people, okay? And maybe in some fashion that serves their needs. To be wealthy, you have to be selfish. It means you have to have no soul about caring about other people, because everything you earn, that's just for yourself, and it doesn't bother you to take advantage of others. So it makes it that much easier for that individual to build up wealth, and maybe that's probably why a lot of wealthy people who try to get wealth through pyramid schemes, they get caught, because they can't control that greed, that lust for more money, and so yeah, they obviously think in a different way. And the funny thing is that the average person that might be selfish, okay, and there's a lot of people that have been arrested and thrown in prison because of selfish motives that led to a murder or something like that. Could it be that maybe these wealthy people, they're wealthy only because they have some sort of mental flaw that makes them greedy and selfish and have this lust for money to hoard it, okay? Because we do have people who hoard things, like things that nobody else would want, but their homes are full of stuff, okay? And they don't know when to stop. It gets to the point where they can't even live in the place anymore, and it gets filthy and dirty, and and it's and after a while the state comes in and says, oh, this place got to be condemned, because you can't live in it. It's there's mold and there's leaking and whatever, you know what I'm saying? They've damaged the home because they keep stuffing it more and more with stuff. And it's so could it be that same affliction that affects these people to just buy and buy and buy and also the same people who want more and more and more money, okay? Maybe that's what happens to a lot of people on Wall Street. Maybe a lot of people on Wall Street have that kind of an addiction to greed and stuff. So maybe it is a psychological disorder. And I guess only a therapist, a psychologist, or somebody would be able to say yeah or no. But it just seems to me like there's a commonality there when it comes to hoarding and stuff. And it depends on what you hoard. Kind of defines the level or the type of disorder you have. So here we have people that I'm guessing have disorders, and they are being put in the power offices of our country. And guess what? The country's falling apart. And that shouldn't surprise us, because these people, if I'm right about their disorder, it's also the same reason why our country's falling apart. And so these were the wrong people to ever put in power, were people that have this disorder for money and greed. And I'm talking about not just government positions, but business positions, because, hey, businesses thrive on increasing their power, increasing their wealth. And let's take the healthcare industry. They throw people under the bus just so they can take the money that they've been paying into all that time and add it to their profits. They drop them, they don't cover them anymore, for whatever reason. And it's just another way for people that are hoarding money and wealth to continue to do that and find new ways to do it and get away with it. I don't think we're ever going to get out of that cycle until we start to recognize this as a problem. Okay, and just because these people have all this money doesn't mean the rest of us should envy that or envy them because they have that money. Yeah, sure, we'd all like to have money, but think about how they got it. Okay, think about the ways in which they got their wealth, and would you want to go down that same avenue as they did? I know I wouldn't. You know, because hey, I got morals, I got a moral compass. I couldn't do unethical things to get rich. I just couldn't do it. You know, it's not in my character to do stuff like that. They, on the other hand, wouldn't think twice about it. Okay, and yet we put our lives in their hands. You know what I mean by our lives, but of our health care. We let these people manage our health care through our policy. And they have clauses in your policy to allow them to wiggle their way out of it, you know, in case they don't want to cover it. You know, if they think it's too expensive, that, you know, what they have to cover, they just don't want to do it. So they have all those clauses, thanks to some smart-ass lawyers who can write that in there and legalize ripping people off, stealing your money. So, and you know, and they're right, and you know, they're about one thing is that the majority of the working poor in this country, a lot of them live in red states, and a lot of them are members of the Republican Party, or what was the Republican Party, now MAGA. Okay, and these folks voted for Trump, and now things are falling apart. Okay, and I got a list here of things that Trump has done already here, and he's only been in office, what, 4 or 5 days now? Okay, he's done quite a bit here. And this was posted yesterday. It's from Reuters, and it's written by Tim Reed, and it's entitled, What Trump Has Done Since Returning to the White House. I'll just go right to the list here. Immigration, what's the number one thing here? He's declared a national emergency, which gives him the authority to do what he's going to do, on the U.S.-Mexico border, and issued a broad ban on asylum for migrants, quote, engaged in the invasion across the southern border, unquote. See, invasion. That's how and this is quoted now, he wrote that in as an invasion. He instructed the Defense Department to make it a priority to seal the border and to support border wall construction, detention space, and migrant transportation. He also empowered the Defense Secretary to send troops to the border as needed. Trump ordered the suspension of refugee admissions into the U.S. All refugee travel to the U.S. was canceled on Tuesday, including that of nearly 1,660 Afghans cleared to resettle in America. He called for reviving the, quote, remain in Mexico, unquote, policy, which requires non-Mexican asylum seekers to wait in Mexico pending the resolution of their U.S. cases. Trump's administration said on Tuesday that it had been restarted. He instructed the Attorney General to seek capital punishment against immigrants without legal status who commit crimes, such as murder, that are potentially punishable by death. He issued an order to end birthright citizenship to children born in the U.S. if neither their mother or their father is a U.S. citizen or legal permanent resident. People born on U.S. soil are granted citizenship under the U.S. Constitution, and Democratic state attorneys general and advocates have already launched lawsuits over the issue. So they actually put a stay on that order he created there, because they got to settle this in court. Trump kicked off a process to designate criminal cartels as foreign terrorist organizations and to utilize a 1798 law known as the Alien Enemies Act against foreign gang members. What about the J6 riders? Can't we declare them as terrorists because, hey, they killed cops, right? Cutting the size of the federal workforce. Trump ordered federal workers back to the office full-time and agencies to take steps to halt remote work arrangements. He issued a freeze on federal hiring except for military, immigration enforcement, national security, and public safety jobs. He reinstated his first-term Schedule F executive order, which would stop potentially tens of thousands of government workers of employment protections and make them easier to fire. In a memo from the acting director of the U.S. Office of Personnel Management on Monday, agency heads were asked to identify by Friday employees on probationary periods or who have served less than 2 years. Such employees are easier to fire. Government diversity programs and gender issues, that's another one. Trump signed an order calling for the elimination of government diversity programs. That includes the ending of all federal offices and jobs related to diversity, equity, and inclusion, DEI. In a memo released on Tuesday, the Trump administration said that all federal DEI office staff would be placed on paid leave by 5 p.m. On Wednesday. Smokey, come on. Because their offices were being closed down. The order directs the administration to review which federal contractors have provided DEI training materials to government agencies and revokes the Equal Employment Opportunity Order signed in 1965 by then-President Lyndon B. Johnson. Trump rescinded an order from the administration of former Democrat President Joe Biden that allowed transgender people to serve in the military. He signed an order to recognize two sexes, male and female, on official documents. These sexes are not changeable and grounded in fundamental and incontrovertible reality, unquote, the order stated. Trump directed agencies to stop using gender identity or preferred pronouns. Expanding energy production. Trump declared a national emergency in energy to expand energy production, scrap regulations, and end rules aimed at expediting a transition to electric vehicles. So we're trying to stop that. He signed orders aimed at promoting oil and gas development in Alaska, reversing Biden's effort to protect Arctic lands and U.S. coastal waters from drilling, suspending offshore wind lease sales, and lifting a freeze on liquid natural gas export permitting. Paris Climate Pact. Trump ordered the United States to withdraw from the Paris Climate Agreement, placing the world's top historic emitter of greenhouse gases outside the global pact aimed at pushing nations to tackle climate change. Trump took the same action in his first term, a move which Biden reversed, and now he's going to reverse the reverse. Withdrawal from World Health Organization. Trump ordered his administration to begin with the process of withdrawing from the World Health Organization, saying the Global Health Agency had mishandled the COVID-19 pandemic and other international health crises. Really? Mishandled? Who was the one that was telling people not to wear a mask? You know, that Fauci was lying out his ass. Who was that? Who was that? J6 pardons. Trump pardoned about 1,500 of his supporters who attacked the U.S. Capitol 4 years ago, the vast majority of those convicted in relation to the riot. Those pardoned included leaders of the far-right groups, the Oath Keepers and the Proud Boys. TikTok and Doge. Trump signed an executive order seeking to delay by 75 days the enforcement of a ban of popular short video app TikTok that was slated to be shuttered on January the 19th. He formally established an advisory group called the Department of Government Efficiency, aimed at carrying out dramatic cuts to the U.S. government, attracting immediate lawsuits challenging its operations. Those are all the things that he's done already, okay? What do you think, people? What do you think? Especially when you know, some of the things that, you know, people are concerned about, especially, gender identity and, you know, and the environment and, you know, trying to, you know, putting a stop on production of electric cars. I mean, what the hell is all that about? Obviously, there's, these are things that are supposed to benefit the legacy billionaires, okay? The ones that, you know what I'm saying? When I mean legacy, I mean the old-time billionaires that have been around here, like the oil industry and stuff like that. He's trying to put a stop to new innovations that might interfere with the legacy billionaires in this country, okay? Certainly they're not going to want to see electric cars become a thing, because that's going to reduce the need for oil and gas, you know? So he's on their side. He's putting that on the plate. And withdrawing from the World Health Organization and all. I mean, what, you know, come on. You know, you think that Trump is going to be able to handle another pandemic that happens in this country? I mean, there are already doubts that if there's another natural disaster in this country, like, you know, what happened in California here recently with the fire, Trump isn't going to be able to do anything or be willing to do anything to help those people out. He'll just put a stop to FEMA or whatever the hell. You know, he won't fund them. He won't give them money. You know what I'm saying? He'll put a stop to it. You know, I mean, these are things that reek of being spiteful to show how much he hates this country. You know what I'm saying? And if that means, and if it means that to be wealthy, you have to hate this country to be wealthy, then please renounce your citizenship and go live somewhere else. We don't want your fucking ass here, okay? We don't. We only want people in this country who do stuff for this country, okay? Who are here to see America progress, evolve into someplace better. Not to be dragged back into the past, okay, and reliving our mistakes that we tried so hard to rectify and bury. He wants to dig up all those fucking skeletons and breathe life back into them, okay, and make us relive all that shit from the past, okay? I mean, if there's a sign that this country's dying, that's it. Because what happens when a person dies? They always say it's like they see their life flash before their eyes. Well, maybe this is what's happening. America is dying, and Trump is there to make us revisit all the mistakes that we made as Americans over the 250 years, okay, before this country finally dies. You know what I'm saying? Doesn't it sound, you know, like maybe it's some sort of karma that, you know, now it's time for this country to die. It doesn't mean it's the end of the world. It just means it's the end of the United States. Okay, what happens when the United States dies is just something that's, you know, the world will contend with on its own. But our country will die, and it will turn into hell for a while until it finds a footing somewhere to become something else. But it won't be, like I said, at the end of this century, the United States may not even exist. It might be, you know, North America and whatever provinces are in it. You know, it might not be states anymore. Okay, and the capital of the country may not even be in Washington, D.C. anymore. It might be somewhere else. Who knows what America will look like at the end of this century? But it won't be like what it is now. Okay. It's certainly, you know, at the start of the 20th century, when we ended up in the year 2000, it looked different than when it started in, you know, 1900. You know. But I think that this change will happen in a more violent way, in a more grievous way. I mean, it will just be very nasty. I mean, yeah, we had the Great Depression in the 20th century. We had World War I, World War II, and a bunch of other wars after. Okay, but these were outside of our nation. A lot of these issues. And except for the Depression, and we got through it, and we made changes as we went. But now this is a worse time, because not only are we looking at changes in our government, we're also looking at changes around the world. Okay, and our focus has to include the rest of the world if the United States is to ever become relevant again. Okay. We can't just be this xenophobic little country here, okay, building walls at our borders to keep people out, okay? That's just not part of what the world is now. I mean, people have been saying for decades, in the future, borders are just going to be, really a formality, that, we're going to have trade everywhere and borders aren't going to mean a whole lot. But now that idea scares the shit out of people, especially the wealthy. And they want borders now. They want borders, they want walls, they want electrified fences. Okay, that's. So we have a real bad problem here in this country of our general attitude about ourselves and outside this country. And maybe part of it has got to do with the fact that so many of us never really ventured outside our own goddamn state, let alone our country, and saw the world. Okay, I was lucky enough to be able to do that when I was in the military, so I've seen other things. So I'm not like been enclosed in the United States my whole fucking life. Okay, and so I feel like maybe that kind of a perspective needs to be given to the rest of Americans who couldn't afford to do that or just never had the opportunity to go and see other countries, just to expand, their perception of the world. Because it's so easy just to sit, at home or something and bitch and complain about foreigners and all this stuff and that. You never even met a foreigner. You probably never met anybody from any other country. Okay. And so you have these preconceived ideas that are fed to you by people who want you to think a certain way, and you don't really know if it's true or not. So you go with what you think sounds plausible, and you're often wrong when you do that. And so I just... oh, and by the way, yes, the price of eggs did go up here. I was over at Hannaford, and I saw a... was it $4 and something for, I can't remember if it was the big carton or just the regular one, but that's a lot. That's a lot of money there. But Trump said he was supposed to reduce price of that. No, I guess not. Ain't gonna happen. It's actually higher now than it was before. So, So, this is, fucking around and find out. I hope MAGA is taking notes here. I know they'll never admit to me that I was right, they were wrong, okay? But I don't care, because at the end, they'll know I was right, and that's all that matters to me, is that when I tell people something here on this program, I'm not pulling your fucking leg, okay? And if I say something on here and it turns out I was wrong, I'll be the first one up here to come up and make the correction. But you're not gonna catch me, peddling bullshit propaganda, okay? You might think it is, but it ain't. All right, let's go to a commercial break. Be right back.
I'm Alex Curtis. I'm a lobsterman in Maine, and this is me.
I'm Roxy Sugar, and this is me.
I'm Eric Hopkins. I'm an artist, and this is me.
This is me.
Me.
This is me.
This is me.
At the end of the journey, the main thing is you, original.
I'm Vic Myers. Welcome to the Resistance. So during the campaign, Felon 47 told us that he was going to pardon the J6 crew, and I was kind of holding out a little bit of hope that he was just saying that to make sure that all the treason block of his voters actually showed up, and they did. I was kind of hoping it'd be like so many things he does, and promise one thing and then not do it, but no, he went ahead and pardoned him first thing. As a veteran from a long line of veterans going back to the Revolutionary War, it leaves me speechless. And the thing that is just really getting under my skin isn't that, we expect crap like that from him. It's no surprise, really. The thing that's getting me is the quietness, if you will, of the American people about this. The headlines, which basically says, yep, so what? Where's the outrage? I mean, people like you and me, we're outraged. But where's the congressional outrage? Where's the Fourth Estate? For those of you who don't know, the Fourth Estate's our media. Where's their outrage? It doesn't exist. And when I talked to my wife about this the other night at dinner, her reaction to it is, yeah. When I asked her if she saw the fascist salute that Muskrat gave, she's like, yeah. And it drives me crazy that she's not angry like I am, because she loves our country just as much as I do. Her dad was a Vietnam veteran. All of her uncles were Vietnam veterans. There's a lot of military service in her family, just like mine. But her reaction is, yeah. And I don't understand it. I did a lot of thinking on that. And, you know, the World War II generation, that was the greatest generation. They went overseas and they liberated Europe from fascism. In the 60s and 70s, they had the make love, not war generation, right? Protests like crazy, protest music. They did something. My generation, though, what is my generation? They're the, oh well, generation. And that's what really gets under my skin about all this. We got to do better, folks, because it's only going to get worse until we do. That's about all I can bear to say on this. Good day.
Trump's nominees, even worse than we thought. Pete Hegseth, unqualified, unethical, unready. He refused to answer questions about his drinking problem, his financial mismanagement of 2 organizations he ran, and his multiple affairs. Pam Bondi, Trump's pick for Attorney General. She stood by Kash Patel and his enemies list of Trump's political opponents, wouldn't admit Trump lost the 2020 election, and we're just getting started. Trump's cabinet picks are dangerous, incompetent, reckless. They'll put his agenda over America every time. Call your senator today and tell them no on Pete Hegseth and Pam Bondi. They're not there to serve America. They're there to protect Trump, even if it puts America in danger.
Be a part of the entertainment value of a lifetime.
I loved it.
It was the best performance I've seen in a lifetime.
I loved the show. I liked it very much. He's a very entertaining man. It's well worth the money.
Now appearing in Charlottetown, coming to Halifax November 6th to the 18th, and St. John November 20th through the 26th.
Okay, this other video that I have is about Musk and some other billionaires having a tiff here over AI. You got 2 AI things here, and everybody's trying to get Trump's attention with it. And, you know, it's creating, you know, a little feud here. And, you know, and this is only 5 days into the presidency, and his billionaire supporters are at each other's throats here over this AI thing here, which I guess people see lots of potential money there to be made on that. And everybody wants Trump's support for their specific AI, not for just AI in general, but for their different companies here that they have. We got Stargate and OpenAI, So here's the video here, and we'll come back on the other side.
Going to be intending to invest $500 billion in AI infrastructure that they call Stargate. And Donald Trump was rolling this out. Look what they're going to invest. But then Elon Musk, who now has an office in the White House, one of Donald Trump's other oligarch bros, the person closest to Donald Trump, who basically helped buy Donald Trump the election, called out the other tech bros who are competing against Elon Musk in the AI market. And he says, basically, it's total fraud. They don't have $500 billion to invest. These companies are just lying. They may as well make up that they're investing $1 trillion because it's all BS. Then Elon Musk posted an image of a crack pipe next to crack and said, this is where they must have come up with that number, $500 billion, while smoking crack. And then others in MAGA were like, whoa, Elon, you're being disrespectful to Donald Trump. And Elon's like, yeah, I don't care. I don't like those tech bros, and those tech bros don't like Elon Musk. And if Donald Trump did some basic diligence, and I know he's not capable of that, he would have found out that Elon Musk is actually suing Sam Altman for billions of dollars and hates the guy. And all of these oligarchs are suing each other over patent violations and trademark infringement and other unfair business practices. This is why you should not invite broligarchs to run the government. They are self-interested and they're trying to enrich themselves at the expense of the American public. By the way, how about those lower prices, Donald? Where are those? Grocery prices are going up. Housing's not more affordable. There's not peace in Ukraine in 24 hours. By the way, Donald Trump said recently, since he was sworn in, that he said Americans don't care about inflation. He goes, that's not the big issue. He said Americans care about the mental institutes that people are coming in from. Excuse me? Border crossings were down under President Biden, and you killed President Biden's bipartisan border deal. But you want to talk about broligarchs? How about one of the things that Donald Trump is really looking to do when it comes to migrants is to help some of the oligarchs who run the private prison system to enrich those billionaires who are opening up all of these private prisons and these private police forces to help carry out bloody mass deportations. Let me just break down everything that happened. So as you know, there was the press conference that was held in the Oval Office. You had Masayoshi's son, SoftBank's leader, you had Sam Altman, you had Larry Ellison, and then Donald Trump said, Sam Altman, you are the leading guy in AI, and that pissed Elon Musk off. Then OpenAI, that account, which by the way, Musk co-founded when it was a non-profit. Musk has some points here. I'll break it down. I'll give credit where credit is due on some of these points. That Musk co-founded OpenAI when it was a non-profit, and then it became for-profit, and Musk is like, okay, well, I funded this thing. Give me the money. And then Sam Altman's like, nah, it's actually mine now. And Elon Musk's like, yeah, but I was funding it when it was a non-profit. Now you're going to be making billions of dollars. You should pay me for it. And Altman's like, nah, I'm not going to do that. So that's part of the feud in the litigation. So OpenAI goes, we're announcing the Stargate project. The Stargate project is a new company which intends to invest $500 billion over the next 4 years, building new AI infrastructure for OpenAI in the United States. We will begin deploying $100 billion immediately. This infrastructure will secure, and then it talks about all the great things that it's going to do in the United States. By the way, notice the language that it used, which intends to invest. That's the language Donald Trump always used when he defrauds people and defrauds the American people, right? The first time around, we intend to build these factories. We intend to have a manufacturing boom. We intend to build a factory here, which would never happen, unlike President Biden, who would keep his promises, and President Biden didn't intend. He actually put the money into the economy, but I guess President Biden, or now former President Biden, didn't give the media all of the access that they wanted to just shout questions at him in the Oval Office. So they said, that's pretty bad. We're going to have to report negatively on this guy because we don't get the access that we think we deserve. It's pathetic, and that's why the corporate media is swirling the drain. So anyway, OpenAI posts that, and then Elon Musk, who's like, dude, I'm the broligarch here. Why are you chilling with Sam Altman? I'm suing this guy. Elon Musk goes, they don't actually have the money. Then he goes on to say, SoftBank has well under $10 billion secured. I have that on good authority. To which Sam Altman, one of Donald Trump's other tech oligarch bros, goes, wrong. As you surely know, want to come visit the first site already underway? This is great for our country. I realize what is great for the country isn't always what's optimal for your companies, Elon, but in your new role, I hope you'll mostly put America first. By the way, these broligarch billionaires fighting with each other, is that really what we the people ever wanted? I know I didn't. I know you didn't, but you want broligarchs fighting? No. How about lower egg prices? How about making housing more affordable? How about doing the things you actually said that you were going to do? Oh, wait, Donald Trump, the liar, is a liar. The big con, the fraud, the felon does wrong things, lies. Yeah, that's what happens. Elon Musk reposts this leaked image of the research tool OpenAI used to come up with their $500 billion number for Stargate, and it's a crack pipe with crack. Then Laura Loomer, one of Donald Trump's kind of closest influencers, and she hates Elon Musk. She comes out and goes, Elon, this is making a mockery of President Trump, and it's incredibly disrespectful to Donald Trump and his staff. The implication is that those who announced Stargate yesterday are smoking crack. The announcement was made by President Donald Trump on day 2 of his administration and the White House press conference. Trump doesn't smoke crack. Very disrespectful to OpenAI, to Sam Altman, to Masayoshi Son, and to Larry Ellison. Elon Musk then posts the inquisitive face emoji. How is OpenAI a closed source for maximum profit? It was started as a nonprofit with a $100 million investment from Elon Musk. And by the way, this is the lawsuit that Elon Musk filed against OpenAI, amended the lawsuit to add Microsoft, one of Donald Trump's other broligarchs, Bill Gates, who visited Mar-a-Lago. They're all suing each other. And all of these lawsuits were happening before the broligarchs all got the front row seats during Donald Trump's inauguration. Just let's take a look at this lawsuit that was filed by Musk against Altman, and they're fighting with each other for Donald Trump's affection. How bizarre. Remember when I reported before the inauguration that Bezos and Musk were both at Mar-a-Lago and they were fighting for Donald Trump's affection, and people there were saying, oh, Bezos was trying to cock block Elon, or the some cock blocking each other. I won't use that language anymore, but they were both trying to appeal for Donald Trump's love. Here's the thing I don't get to. When you're a billionaire, wasn't the whole point about being a billionaire, which by the way, maybe I'm ignorant. I don't understand why you'd need to be a billionaire or even have hundreds of millions. There's so much money. It doesn't make sense to me, but perhaps I'm very naive here. But don't they call it FU money? FU money. Well, it's not FU money if you have to kiss Donald Trump's ring and wear knee pads every time you're around him. Elon Musk, Bezos, Altman, Bill Gates, but whatever. Here's the lawsuit against Sam Altman. Never before has a corporation gone from tax-exempt charity to a $157 billion for-profit, market-paralyzing gorgon in just 8 years. Never before has it happened because doing so violates almost every principle of law governing economic activity. It requires lying to donors, lying to members, lying to markets, lying to regulators, and lying to the public. No amount of clever drafting nor surfeit of creative deal-making can obscure what is happening here. OpenAI Inc., co-founded by Musk as an independent charity committed to safety and transparency and nurtured in its infancy by Musk's money, advice, recruiting efforts, and connection, is, at the direction of Altman, Brockman, and Microsoft, fast becoming a fully for-profit subsidiary of Microsoft. And they're suing for numerous causes of action, fraud, violations of antitrust laws. So that's what Trump's oligarchy, tech broligarchies doing to each other. Elon Musk also reposts this from Gavin Baker. Look, Stargate, it's a great name, but the $500 billion is a ridiculous number, and no one should take it seriously unless SoftBank is going to sell all of their Baba and ARM. Baba refers to Alibaba stock, and ARM is another tech company that they've invested in. SoftBank has about $38 billion in cash, $142 billion in debt, and generates $3-ish billion in cash flow per BBG. They own $143 billion in ARM and $18 billion in Alibaba. If they start selling ARM, their stake will be worth much less very quickly. Oracle has $11 billion in cash and $88 billion in debt and generates about $10 billion in cash flow. OpenAI is just burning cash. NVIDIA will limit how much they invest in any one model company, maybe $5 billion. Barring the aforementioned SoftBank ARM sale, might be able to put together $50 billion in equity funding over several years. Can obviously finance the GPUs and put debt into the JV. Nowhere close, though, to $500 billion. Everyone should just start issuing press releases for $1 trillion AI projects. By the way, love it that the ticker MGX, which is a biotech company, is up 33% on this. If you, a professional investor or analyst, and you took $500 billion at face value, or even worse, wrote a note about this, you should resign in disgrace. And again, basically calling Trump and this announcement fraud, and Elon Musk is reposting that. And it's one of the things I've always said, folks, which is Trump just makes up numbers, right? The case in New York where he was found liable of fraud, it was, his properties and his things were significantly high in value, but he would just make up billions and billions and billions. He would just make up numbers and it would be fraud. That's why he was found civilly liable for fraud. And this is a form of that, in my opinion, because you're saying 500 billion, you're just making up random numbers to sound big. To what? So that the corporate media picks it up. But, here, I can't believe I'm saying this. Elon Musk is right in the sense that there's nowhere near $500 billion there. Maybe there's 10 billion at most, dripping wet. And this is just a way that Trump's trying to say, look at all the things I'm going to do to, again, WMDU, weapon of mass distraction. He knows prices aren't going down. He knows houses aren't getting more affordable. He knows that Putin is mocking him. He knows that he didn't get the peace deal he promised. He knows that all of the things he said he was going to do, he ain't doing. Other than, I guess, pardoning the January 6th insurrectionists and individuals engaged in terroristic behavior. He did that, pissing off the Fraternal Order of Police on day one. But other than that, is that what the American people wanted? To have freaking terrorists and people convicted of seditious conspiracy running free? You freaking kidding me? And again, the broligarchs sitting there at the inauguration, that to me is the lasting image of the failure of Trump. To see that image there. It was gross. And they were all making weird faces. They looked like they were tweaking out. Zuckerberg was like staring down at Bezos' wife's chest. The whole thing was gross. They can have lots of money, but they don't even have real power because they're kissing the ring. And they also have no class. That's my opinion. What's yours? Hit subscribe. Let's get to 4 million. Thanks for watching.
Yeah, Elon Musk. Kiss the ring. Kiss the ring. It's a pretty interesting question to ask. It's like, well, if you're already a billionaire, shouldn't that be enough, I think, for you? And that, if you're going to invest in AI and you're already a billionaire, how much money do you fucking need? I don't know. But, the thing is that since everybody is on this AI thing, and the thing is, there's like different levels to this AI thing that I've gathered. Okay, you got, your low-end AI, and you got your high-end AI, which is what these people are running here. Okay. And hell, I even got a cousin who works peddling that shit, AI. because they use it in businesses to streamline operations. And he goes around, you know, telling businesses, you know, how to do these things, that, you know, that way they can reduce staff, you know. So basically he's like, you know, the guy that will tell some, you know, you don't need this person here. You could cut hours in research and stuff like that by letting this AI system do all that for you. Excuse me. And so, yeah, I mean, it's obviously that's the future. And I think Biden had said before he left office that jobs will be lost in this country, but there'll be new doors open for different kinds of jobs, and people have to be ready for that. They have to be ready to jump onto a new lily pad, essentially. You know, so whatever you did for a job, now it's taken over by AI, you're going to have to find something else. You got to be flexible, you know. Hell, you know, even Bill Clinton used to say that when he was president. Okay, he'd go to like different factories and stuff like that, and they were talking about machines were taking the place of some of these laborers and stuff. You know, he was saying, you know, it's you have to exercise your mind. You have to educate in order to be flexible in the job market. Okay, and it's as true then as it is today. Okay, and since everything is so goddamn technological, I can't imagine why anybody would not want to kind of get an education in technology in order to keep up with it, because it advances so fast. Okay, it's hard to keep up with it, and if you're not on it all the fucking time, you know, you'll get left behind. And I feel like, you know, if people today are struggling or worried they're going to lose their job, it's like, hey, now's the time to start thinking about, you know, maybe going back to school or something, or try to brush up on certain things, you know, taking night classes or anything that might help you to gain a new job where you can use them skills after. And I just... I don't see how, you know, times are going to, like, okay, we'll take for like the immigrants that are doing all the crop stuff and everything. You know, who's to say they won't come up with a fucking machine that'll do that if it's possible in some places, okay? I don't know. But certainly, you know, if we can't have immigrants come here and pick tomatoes and potatoes and, you know, you name it, okay, then somebody's going to have to come up with another way to do it, you know, because you got to feed the people, right? They're not going to just starve because, oh, we got rid of the immigrants and that's it, and jack up the prices. That ain't going to be sufficient. No, people are going to demand better. You're either going to give them more money for the jobs they do have, or you're going to find a better way or a new way to pick those fucking crops, because you've got to feed the people. It's going to look really embarrassing to be president of a country where you got more people homeless and more people starving to death on the street. How do you think that's going to look? You think people are MAGA still going to love your, you know, your orange god then? I don't think so, because a lot of MAGA will be the ones on the street and starving. So for people, you know, if you're going to get rid of something, it's like getting rid of a healthcare. It's like when the Republicans are sitting there saying, we need to get rid of Obamacare. And everybody's saying, well, what have you got to replace it with? Oh, nothing. And then Trump's, oh, I got concepts of plans. Okay? You can't get rid of something and not have something to replace it with, because that's a critical component to the stability of the society. You remove it, and it's like pulling the goddamn piston out of your engine. I mean, Jesus Christ, you know? You can't just tamper with things because you don't like it, or because, oh, I don't like that Obama made it or something. You got to have a better fucking reason than that. The systems that we have in our government are as intricate as the engine in your vehicle. You cannot just yank parts out of it and expect the fucking motor to keep running. It ain't going to work. So, you know, this AI thing, I don't know what it can do or what it's capable of doing, but it's certainly these people are going to work on creating something out of it that might benefit, you know, corporations in some way other than just being on your desktop. You know, it could be something else, and we might need it especially when you consider what we won't have if Trump gets his way. You know, you take 11 million people out of this country and it's going to reflect in your economy really, really fast, okay? Practically overnight even. And, you know, I hate to think that, you know, that MAGA's going to find out that Trump's got no plan on how to fix any of that after he fucks with it, okay? He's taking your models and he's smashing them, and he's got nothing to replace your stuff with, okay? He's got nothing. He doesn't care, okay? He just cannot stand the country, what it does. He doesn't like it. Why? Because it taxes. You have to pay taxes to have things in this country, to have luxuries, to be able to have, you know, a fire department, a police department, a military, post office, you name it. Whatever we're paying tax for, you know, for the social safety nets that we got, all that's tax money. Now, they don't like paying for that. They don't like paying income tax. They don't like paying corporate welfare. You know, they don't want to pay anything, okay? But if you're sitting on American soil and you're doing business here, hey, you got to pay. If you're not going to pay, then you pick up your company and move it out of this country, okay? Simple as that. You know, if you're not going to contribute to the economy that you're depending on to make your fucking money, then please don't stay here. We don't want your business, okay? You're either in an American business or you're not. You come here, you play on our fucking game board, you're going to play by the fucking rules or out, okay? What do you do when you go to a casino and somebody's cheating at a game? What happens? Well, in some places, they just disappear. You never hear from them again. You know, or you're asked to leave. That should be the same fucking thing here in this country. You come into this country, you set up a business, you play by the fucking rules. And if you don't like the rules, leave. If you try to cheat, you know, you'll just disappear and no one will ever find you again. Okay? Same fucking thing. If we ran our country the way they run casinos, you know, maybe businesses would be a little more honest and they'd probably be contributing more to the stability of the country here. So that way there would be less poverty, there'd be less fucking homelessness, there'd be more care taken of its people, which are the backbone of America, okay? You need people. You need those middle class people in this country, okay? They created, you know, the ability for the wealthy to get wealthier. Without them, we didn't have a fucking economy. But no, now that they got all the wealth, they want to eliminate all the middle class and just have the rich and the poor, okay? And the poor are slowly being sucked out of all their money because everything they earn goes to paying their bills, okay? And that's not enough. They want to make them give away more of their money. So how can you pay more than you earn? You know, that's what they want you to do. They want you to give them everything you got, every fucking dime. Hell, and in the case of the healthcare industry, you know, they would rather have your money than take care of you. You know, you die, we take your money. That's okay with them. That's why you got that guy got shot in New York, okay? Somebody got wise and got smart and decided, you know, somebody has to pay the price for this. This can't go on. You know, lots of people have been saying that for years in America, that what they do is evil. It's illegal. Well, it should be illegal, but it's very unethical, okay? And we should not allow that to continue in this country. There ought to be laws against that sort of thing. You know, if a company gives you a policy, you know, and you're paying every month into it, when you get sick, they should cover it regardless of a pre-existing condition, regardless of whether what the cost is of what you went through. They should pay, period. Okay? You cannot offer a service and then turn around and say, oh, I'm not going to do it. You know, what happens if you go to a car dealership and you buy a car and you're all happy, you got it, everything, and then all of a sudden they say, oh, we want it back. You know, and we're not going to give you your money back either. We want the car back. And they have, and they got paperwork that says they're allowed to do that. You paid them the money for the car, but now they want the car back. Well, isn't that the same thing what they're doing with the healthcare industry? I mean, why is it people can't understand that and get pissed off enough to demand change in government to do something about that? Why is it? You know, what do we have to do? You know, do the people have to get so angry that we have another sort of a J6 event outside the gates of the government? I mean, are we going to have to do that every fucking month for different things that we're being fucked over by? I mean, when is the government going to exercise control over corporations in this country to be able to say, look, from now on, they sign a policy, you will cover that policy regardless of what the hell you come up with, okay, and it's law, okay? Or, you know, we'll just come up with a government plan. So that way we can cut you out, period. Either way, you're at our mercy. We'll create our own goddamn healthcare system, and it will be for everybody in this country, just like the veterans have. They won't have to pay anything. We'll just cover it. How long do you think you'll be able to stay in business then? You know, the government has all the fucking cards in this situation. But no, you see, these companies, they feed the politicians with money. You know, that's what they want. They don't want to put these people over the fire and hose them down, okay? They don't want to do that. No, they want to keep getting those donations there for their campaigns. If you keep the politicians dependent on your cash, hey, it's like a drug addict, right? They're going to come to you, I need more money, I need more money, all right? So you see, our country's already compromised right there, thanks to the influences of our corporations here in the country. You know, was it even possible for, you know, Kamala Harris to win the presidency under the broken system we have? You know, that I have to wonder, was there even a chance at all? You know, maybe the media was doctoring the numbers to make it look like, you know, Harris was neck and neck with Trump, just to keep giving people the false hope that, oh, the game's not rigged against her. Okay? You know, I don't know. But when you sit down and you think about all the things that's wrong with this country, you know, and how it got that way, you have to wonder, well, you know, nobody's ever done anything to fix that yet. And it's still happening even as we speak. There's still healthcare companies out there holding policies over people's heads. Some of you watching this video right now have policies from a company. There's probably a clause in there somewhere, if you've read it, you know, that gives them the opportunity to dump you if they feel they want to, or whatever, for whatever reason. You know, everyone, you know, practically out there is gambling their life on a policy that they have from a company they think is reputable. But every single company, every healthcare company has dropped people from coverage. Every single one. That one that the guy was in that got killed, his was the worst of all the healthcare companies. Okay, about a third of all their customers had been dropped. You know, and so every one of those things does that. So it means everybody's gambling. You know, I don't think people should be required to gamble on their health and put their life in the hands of somebody they don't even know, okay? Or a company whose real interest is in how much money they make, because they got to feed the stockholders, right? Because stockholders are constantly, I want more money, I want more money, okay? Or I'm going to sell my stock and go to another company. Hey, do you really want to put your life in the hands of people that are not really beholden to what they're doing for you, but more beholden into profit? It's like buying a car, okay, and hoping it doesn't break down, because if you do, you'd have to get all your parts from another country and it would cost you 3 times as much to fix it, okay? You're just hoping it won't. I mean, come on, people. It's not a wonder people can't sleep at night. You know, all the worries that this country compounds on you in your life is ridiculous. It's not fair. You know, the wealthy, hey, they can skirt right out from under it because, hey, I don't care if I get, you know, I got the money to pay all my hospital bills. Okay? But for the rest of us who don't, we're under always worry, worry, worry. And that's why stress levels are so fucking high in this country, and why people like Luigi break, snap, and go and do what they do. When you put people under enough fucking stress, you're gonna see things like that happen. It's gonna happen. Not everybody can handle it, okay? And since, you know, we don't really take care of the mentally handicapped in this country, they're going to be the first ones to break and go after people in a violent way. You know, it happens all the time with people that can't even, that want to get out of a marriage, and they, you know, and they kill the wife and the kids, you know, like Chris Watts, okay? And that's a guy who normally looks fine and civil, but just the right straw dropped on him, and all of a sudden all hell breaks loose. Well, that's the way it's going to be with all of us here at some point, right? Everybody's got a breaking point. Why push it? Why stay quiet and just allow them to keep dropping more straws on you until you finally break? Why do we do this? You know, MAGA, it's even worse for them because, hey, they voted for the fucking fox that's going to eat all their hens, okay? They put themselves under more stress. Why? Do they like worrying? Do they like stress? Is that, you know, I don't understand these people, okay? I really don't understand them. They're really bizarre. And that's why, you know, I really can't debate them or talk to them or anything like that, because whatever you get from them, it sounds like a clusterfuck, okay? Their reasoning is like scattered beyond belief. I mean, you think you're talking to a Neanderthal sometimes with some of these folks, but that's what it is, you know. And I wish that more people would get out and get active and get more stoked. And when the weather's good is the time to do it, right? Okay. You get out there because, hey, you voted for these fuckers. They work for you. Don't let corporations buy these people out from under you. Don't let them do it. You know, that's all the only advice I could say. You remind them bastards who you represent. You don't represent the one CEO over there. They represent thousands of people that voted for this person. You have to remind them all the time. You know, no matter how much money you get, we're not going to vote for you, because at the end of the day, the votes are what's going to count, not the cash you just raked in. You know? Okay, so that's it for today, and I hope everybody has a great rest of the week and upcoming weekend here. So subscribe, comment, and share, and keep your ears open for, you know, any health issues and stuff. And treat each other kind out there. We're getting, well, we're halfway through winter now. What getting closer to spring, so let's look forward to that, and try to take time for yourself to relax. And I'll talk to you guys later, so take care, everybody. Bye-bye.